The Beijing visit is over. President Donald Trump has returned from China accompanied by some of America's biggest business titans. And while the official headlines spoke of trade, tariffs, and strategic stability, social media told a very different story. Feeds were flooded with images of Trump touring Beijing's imperial landmarks, American CEOs smiling for selfies, and Elon Musk becoming almost a spectacle as much as the summit itself. But beneath the glamour and the choreography, one message from Xi Jinping came through with an unmistakable clarity. Keep your hands off Taiwan. Before leaving China, Trump announced a massive Boeing deal with China, hundreds of aircraft possibly being purchased, yet Beijing responded with a calculated silence. No triumphant announcement, no dramatic signing ceremony. And then came Trump's remarks after returning to the American soil. His language suggested something far bigger than a trade negotiation. He openly questioned wisdom of America getting dragged into a war 9,500 miles away from home. For many observers, the signal was unmistakable. Taiwan may no longer enjoy the unquestioned strategic backing it once assumed from Washington. And Taiwan is not alone. Ukraine too seems to have been thrown under the bus, which raises an uncomfortable question for America's allies across the Pacific. If pressure mounts tomorrow on South Korea, on Japan, or on Australia, how far would Trump's America actually go? Only time will answer that. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The United States under Trump is resetting its global compass. Even America's growing tensions with European allies point in the same direction. Washington increasingly appears less interested in carrying the burden of a worldwide security architecture and more focused on consolidating influence closer to home, within the Western Hemisphere and the Atlantic sphere. That does not mean America is retreating into isolation. Far from it. The administration remains deeply engaged in issues closer to the continental interest: Venezuela, Cuba, border security, and the intensifying war against the drug cartels operating across Mexico and Latin America. But the priorities are shifting, and perhaps the clearest evidence lies inside the machinery of the American diplomacy itself. The aggressive downsizing of the State Department, including major cuts affecting personnel connected to the US embassies worldwide, signals something profound. America may be deliberately reducing its global footprint. This is why many analysts describe the moment not simply as a policy adjustment, but as a reorientation of American compass. For decades, the United States positioned itself as the North Star of the democratic world, the country that projected power not only through armies and markets, but through ideals, the promotion of democratic institutions, the funding of international development programs through agencies like the USAID. All of this formed part of America's post-Cold War identity. But today, that identity appears to be under revision. The rollback of global aid programs and the development partnerships signals that Washington may no longer see nation building, poverty reduction, or democratic promotion as central pillars of American foreign policy. That alone represents a historic shift. Then there is the Middle East. American support for Israel against Iran is hardly new, but the tone, the methods, and the willingness to embrace confrontation more openly differ sharply from the caution exercised by earlier administration. Yet America is not a monolith. It is layered, politically, institutionally, culturally. And the deeper question is whether all those layers truly support this dramatic geopolitical shift, or whether this is merely a direction of one administration. The answer may come after 2029 when a new president, perhaps with a very different worldview, takes office. And if the American compass is indeed shifting, the free world may soon discover that the old North Star no longer points in the same direction.